Welcome back. It is my November portfolio update video. There's been some huge changes to my portfolio, which we'll look at in a bit. My portfolio is currently down £59, £58 and 95 pence now. So 0.48%, so it's not too bad. It's slowly on the incline. Got one more month left, and it's been pretty much my first year of investing. So next month will be a good video looking at the year overall. I'm currently invested £12,000, so that's not too bad for my first year. Pretty happy with that. As you can see here, O is slowly on the up, so hopefully that hits the green soon. But let's get into my portfolio. So if you've noticed, I've made a couple of changes. I've added a couple, I think, from my last video. But again, Abby still just trickling into that. If I got the odd £1 or something, I'll just add into that as we go forward. Slowly keep building that up. Any dividends that come in from that will get auto invested. Avira, again, just averaging, my pound averaging into that. So every week, just slowly drip feeding money into that. 139 shares. That's doing pretty well. That's currently up in the green, up £25. So just shy of, or just over 4.5%. Bank of America, again, 4 shares, currently up £7.58. Again, that's something I'm slowly just drip feeding. Any dividends that Bank of America pays me get added into that, and any loose change I put into that. But anything else I add into my bigger ones that I'm trying to bolster as quick as possible to get to a certain point. Then I'll start increasing these other ones then from there. BHP, exactly the same as Bank of America and Abbey, where I'm just drip feeding it. 3 shares of that, currently up in the green also, with £5 currently up. Coca-Cola, I invested quite a bit into this last month, I think, when the changes happened. 7 shares Coca-Cola. Again, this is more of a growth share for me. This is a long-term company. This has been around probably longer than I've been alive, so that's why I'm investing into this. Again, I'm not doubling down on Coca-Cola just yet, but if I do have some extra income, I do chuck it into Coca-Cola to bolster this, and again, any dividends gets reinvested. This is a new one, so QYLP. So the US version is QYLD. This is the UK version, pretty much exactly the same as QYLD, just the UK version, and it allows me to avoid a tax income when I get dividends from this. So that's why I've invested into this one. I was in the QYLD, but then when I found out there was a UK version and I could avoid a tax, I sold that and then bought into this one. Again, I doubled down on this. I had some money come in from selling other stocks, which I pumped into this. Got me up to pretty much bought 100 shares of this one. So hopefully that will be a nice dividend when it does start coming in. That is currently down £42, so 3%. But as you can see here by the graph, it's not too bad. It's basically averaging back and forth there. So as long as I keep averaging in every week, buying a couple of shares, hopefully this average line will start decreasing. I might pump some cash in while it's down here in that 12 mark. Try and get that average line as low as possible. League in general, again, this has been a long one I've been in. Goal is to get that to 200 by the end of the year. That's pretty simple. The shares are pretty cheap at the moment, so I should be able to get that in up to 200 next week, pretty much. Again, this is something I'm investing into weekly. And again, 200 shares should get me a nice juicy dividend, hopefully coming in every couple of months. And again, just trying to drop this average line. It's not good because it's high, it's low, low. It just keeps getting lower, lower, and lower. It has peaked again here, higher than this one. So hopefully it is back on the incline. But again, just trying to buy this while it's down. Main Street Capital. This is one I am investing into daily, let's say. So this one I'm doing, it is a monthly paying dividend. It is a REIT, and pretty much I'm paying basically £1 a day into this, Monday to Friday. So basically 5 days a week. Each week I'm putting £5 in, and I'm basically going to see how that works over a year. Basically dollars cost averaging. So investing every week and then see, but obviously buying the highs and the lows, and you can see that average line is nice and low compared to where it's normally at. So that's looking quite good. And again, it's currently at £5, so a good start. Microsoft, pretty much the same as Coca-Cola. This is a growth stock of mine. Not really investing into it as much, but if I do have any loose change or extra income, then I do put it into Microsoft. But I got 3 shares of that, and it's currently up 20%, so £150. So that's doing pretty well for me at the moment. Reality Income, that is not doing so well. 61 shares, pretty much invested £2,600, almost £2,700 in this, and it's currently down 6.5%. And you see there, £189. But like I said at the start of the video, basically the graph is looking like it is on the up, so hopefully that will start dropping and it hits the green. Fingers crossed I don't lose all that money. Redwood Trust, I've had this the whole year. I pretty much invested £100 at the start of the year. Haven't touched it since. 21 shares. It is a high paying dividend. I think it was like 12% when I first invested into it, and I think it pays me like £5 every couple of months. That dividend pretty much gets added into a different share. So I'm basically just using this to bolster other companies from the high dividends. Again, I'm not pumping loads of money into it because I'm not too sure on where that company's going to go, and with a 12% dividend, it could be a trap. So like I said, I put £100 in at the start of the year. It's grown slightly, and in dividends I just reinvest into other brands. Rio Tinto, again, this is a bit like Abbey, where I just, if I have a spare pound in my account, I'll just chuck it into this. Dividends get reinvested. Again, mining, not too sure where the mining's going to go. It could just end one day, so it's quite scary company to invest into, because like I said, if all mining comes to a halt one day, then obviously that's probably going to come to a fucking stop pretty soon. So again, one of those things like tobacco, stuff like that, where you don't really know where it's going in the future. It's quite a tough one to invest into. Vanguard, the all-world high dividend. This is probably my biggest holding of £4,300. That's currently in the green, which is nice, with £37. I want to get this to 100. I would say by the end of the year, but obviously with 1 month left, it's pretty hard to get 10 shares in a month with that. And then the S&P 500, this is a new one I've added. Currently 16 shares, currently down £6, and I've invested £1,000 into the S&P 500. And again, this is a long-term one. Both of these are long terms. Dividend's going to get reinvested into it, and then something I'm going to be doubling down into going forward. If I can get this to 100 shares, that to 100 shares, then pretty much my ETFs will be in a pretty good place going forward into next year. So that's my goal for next year, is to get my ETFs as high as possible, get those dividends piling up next year. But change wise, as you can see, I used to have like 60 shares or 60 stocks in my portfolio. I've now only got a handful. So obviously I've sold the almost daily dividend pie. That will be a separate video explaining why I sold that. And then obviously when I sold that, I think I had £2,500. £1,000 went into the NASCAR and also my S&P 500. And then the rest I basically split up between Microsoft, Coca-Cola, League in General, Reality Income. I basically just split the rest up between there, but I put bulk in the S&P 500. So my bulk went to my ETFs, and the rest I split up amongst the rest of my portfolio. But that's pretty much it. Next month I will show you my full year breakdown, how much dividends I've earned over the year. And then hopefully next year we start seeing a massive difference compared to this year. So 2024 is going to be a good year, hopefully, where we can start comparing it to 2023. But again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next month.